right, I got plenty of time. I got plenty of time tonight. And we're live. What's up? You know, I thought I'd have a chance to say what's up to everybody. I never really even think about it. Like, I'm always working and I'm always on my grind, and my wife told me since forever ago, she said, I want you to go to the studio and I want you to do some podcasting. Because sometimes I'm so locked in and it's habit, you know, like I've been editing. Look, let me go and start by introducing myself. My name is Howard Thomas Nix Jr. I'm the owner and operator of New Recruit Media. And I've been in this game, New Recruit Media, just by the name, it's been around since maybe 2022. I finally got my copyright for New Recruit Media. But this is what I'm saying. I've had other companies, same spirit, you know, all the way from Exclusive Productions to Under the Flesh News to New Recruit Sports to New Recruit Media. I've been doing this, I want to say, we're coming up on 20, I think it was 21 years. But the thing is this, I started filming when I was a kid. I always took pictures. You know, I took pictures, and my mom took a lot of pictures. And I remember Dad either got her a video camera, and I always loved the video camera. You know, if you guys want to know how New Recruit really originated, it came from mixtapes, because my dad actually made me a mixtape to send off to college coaches, and at the time I didn't think that much of it. But the mixtape that he created with a VHS, and you know, you record one game and it was a lot of work, but he created a mixtape for me and we were able to send it out. And long story short, it definitely helped me get inside of West Virginia University, at least get the coach's attention. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for everybody who even was filming back in those days. You know, you start thinking about it. Not everybody had cameras and access to videos and all of this type of stuff when I first got in the game. You know, I am the pioneer to this, you know, like as far as what you call yourself, there's a lot of different pioneers for different areas, but I feel like part of the wave that definitely hit Section 5, you know, this was new ground for me. I started off down south. I was in Tennessee. And I think it was like my first time I had access to, you know, or it was the first time where I honestly wanted to pursue something with the camera. You know, I feel like I was always entertaining in a way. You know, so it was you're talking 2003, 2004. I've always been, you know, intrigued with the camera. I tell you what, I remember being in college, and I had a couple buddies on the squad. They were taking like the journalism and media classes and tech classes. And back then that was like, you know, digital art, graphic design. I wanted to do that stuff, honestly. But at the time I was still, you know, being taught, or I went for political science, English. I wanted to be a lawyer, or at least that's what I try to tell myself. But I was much more interested in the cameras and how everything was working, because, you know, it was at the time, there's so many things about myself that you guys don't know. And it's funny because now I feel like sharing this with everybody. You know, I see so many kids out here filming now. And I see they got their cameras, they're dropping their mixtapes. And, some people, they're making a living. Some people, it's transformed their life in order to cover the media alternatively. And it just feels good because I know for a fact that my influence have touched everybody in a way. And I look at the area, I look at how news is covered. I don't agree with everything, sports-wise, but I'm just, I'm at one of those points where you start to realize that being a pioneer to stuff, you're moving differently. Sometimes you forget that you're an eagle, like people are looking at you. And you look around and there's not too many people that you see in your lane until you go up a little bit higher. And then you start to realize that being a pioneer, you're taking a path that hasn't been traveled before. So sometimes, you look back and you say, hey, look, I created this lane. And it's cool because you see the success of others. And you have to celebrate it because being a pioneer is exciting within itself. You see, the best thing that I get to do is experience things firsthand. And that comes with the good and the bad, the ups and the downs. That comes with the hard learning lessons. All the different people you're going to meet. It's like strategically put into your life to finally get to the point where you can just relax and talk about it. Because believe me when I tell you this, I have so much footage and just audio footage, and I've been doing this for so many years. It's like I have a vault collection of things that I've just held inside. But now I feel like it's a great time to start sharing these experiences with so many future videographers, mixtape cats, photographers, designers. It's a wave, it's a lifestyle. I tell you guys what, there's people out here that are working on their skills all the time. And you're probably home editing or that's one of my favorite pastimes, like I'll edit, I'm watching TV, I'm listening to music, I'm trying to see what beats I like, I'm listening to books, there's a lot that goes on, except I love every second of it. That's the thing, when you start thinking about how did I even get here? And I'm sharing my thoughts out in the open right now. There's nothing written down. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm just sharing these thoughts because I'm trying to figure out how did I get here. Today I was thinking to myself, I was like, okay, it's Sunday morning and, I'm an early riser. I wake up early. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is. So it's Sunday morning and I get out of the bed, take a shower, and I'm like, yeah, let me go twist my hair up. So I twist my hair up. It's like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And all I can think about was the fact that I'm at a point in my life where now it's time for like a transition. And my little sister, I was talking to her today after, filming her tournament, which was a success this past weekend. She said, you're at the point now where you have to pivot and you need to delegate more. And this is where I'm at. There's so many kids out there that have so much talent. And I like to give a shout out to all the kids out there that, you love content creation. You love, the whole mixtape sort of feel. the whole culture behind it. Because now I'm at the point where I can give away opportunities, and I have to scale up. And it's been a while, except I've put some really good people around me. And like anybody else, in order to get to this point, you're gonna have some good days and some bad days, and some good people and some bad people. And I have a million stories to tell, but I have to start sharing this stuff. My wife told me, she said, I want you to start podcasting every single day and just talk, because somebody's probably home working, or they're doing something and they just want to hear somebody to talk that might be going through what they're going through. But I'm definitely at that point where you go to the next level. And, sometimes I do feel like it's me, which it is, that holds me back the most. You see, there's been so many times where maybe subconsciously I feel like, wow, am I getting looked over? But then it hits me, I'm the one, bruh. And one of the greatest things that I can do with everybody is just share some conversation. We're at that point now, I have a lot of great conversations, I'm supposed to be talking with JMAC tomorrow. And this is just, getting a podcast going. And, I started off with JMAC and Coach Johnson in this area, back in Rochester. But it is what it is, man. I think I'm enjoying the fact that I'm taking ownership of this. And it's, like what I'm saying right now, it's just, I'm thinking and talking, because it's an experience of what do they call that? Self-realization. When you start looking at yourself, like, it's one of those moments when I look at myself sometimes, and I look at some of my old notepads and things that I wrote down years back. And I've written down goals and things that I wanted to acquire. And then when you look at those old journals and you see the things that you wanted to do back then, and you're actually doing it now, or you're doing way more than what you were dreaming of back then. And like I said, I have a record of things I wanted to do. You have to do it just so you can look back and see, what did you want from all the way back then? Well, one of the things I want to tell myself and everyone that's watching, I was supposed to have been, doing this a while back. I always write down, like, I need to start podcasting more. And there's so many people that I know that I want to talk to. But when you get in the habit of working on that skill, or working on that thing that your passion, if you're a great artist, you want to work on your craft, and you love what you do, it's a passion. But on the business end, it's the wake-up call. It's the reality, that you have to, it's that part that you have to look at. And I think to myself sometimes, I'm like, that's the hardest part about being in my shoes. And this is why there's such a need for me to delegate a lot of these things that I'm constantly doing. And I see the struggle in my own self sometimes, I feel just like everybody else. Everybody has something that they struggle with. And to be able to face your fears and sort of get yourself back in that mode where you're honestly looking out for yourself a little bit more. Like, I don't know how many people are out there like me. Like, this is one of my greatest downfalls, I believe. One of my greatest downfalls. That's a good cup of coffee. I really enjoy coffee also. So if you make really good coffee, please contact me, because we're going to give you a plug. We'll give you a shout out. Like, I want some really good coffee, so you guys let me know who has the best coffee in town, but not to, I just wanted to remember that while we're still talking. But yeah, like, self-sabotage, it's the truth. It's almost like I can do so much better work for somebody else other than myself. And I'm at the point now where I have to accept this is who I am. And I think that's the person you dreamed of. Once you become, you never think of all the other things that go outside of those dreams. So this whole time I've been capable of doing a lot of things that, in the back of your mind, you're thinking to yourself, like, once I get this certain amount of money, I'll be able to communicate, or I'll be able to reach this circle, or I'll be able to feel a certain way. But the reality is this, that I'm finding out. There's people that have everything that you want. Every material desire that you want, there's people that have that now. But what they don't have is how you do it. You know what I'm saying? They don't have your uniqueness, maybe your authentic flavor, and they have more than enough to go around. So life has a way of balancing itself, because sometimes it feels like the people who are really passionate and who are really artsy, it's a hard balance to be that person and also be really, have a really strong sense of business. And there's people out there that have the well-balanced life. They've been taught how to do all this and put everything together. Like, when I first started filming and doing a lot of this stuff, I was in front of the camera all the time. I was always in front of the camera. I was having a good time. I mean, I think one of the drawbacks behind that was the fact that I was having a really good time, and I love to drink. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie to anybody. I love to drink. We had some great times filming and going different places. But now you look back and you think to yourself, like, there's no way. Isn't there, like, there's some sort of, I don't know if it was Muhammad Ali who said it, but they said if a man thinks the same way he thought 20 or 30 years ago, or when he's 20 and he thinks the same way as when he's 50, or that's a strong point. It is. Those same fears that I had when I was a kid, those fears have gone. And in one way, you can evolve from, fearful thinking and move forward with the Nike slogan in your head, just do it. And I think that's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing that I'm explaining to everybody. It's the just do it part behind attracting your dreams. That's the hardest part, because mentally sometimes you feel so frustrated. You feel like, what am I still getting on this treadmill for? And I know I've done it so many years where I get to a certain part of a journey and I choose to jump on a treadmill for a couple weeks, or for a month, or for maybe even a season, and I snap into reality and I realize that this is my time. I have so many different ideals that they're all written out. In fact, I have them posted on the wall. But when I find myself not pursuing them, that's the self-sabotage that I go through. And you know, everybody goes through this. Like, I wonder how many people feel that maybe they don't get their worth. People don't know their true worth. I can't be alone about that one. That's something that I honestly have the hardest time debating with myself. My real worth, you know? Because my upper self knows exactly what my worth is. But then I'll think to myself and I'll overthink. And then I'll sabotage myself by maybe not thinking that I should ask for what I really need. You see, here goes the difficult part in this situation. Having 7 sons and going through a lot of ups and downs along the way, you know, it's not that you second guess yourself, but you learn to be humble. That being said, you'll be so humble to where you forget what you're doing it for, you know? You got to remember, this is America. This is the land of opportunity. You got to think as if you're a winner at all times. And when you start second guessing yourself, it doesn't increase your value. See, I've had a chance to go through these ups and downs. I talk to different people. I mentor. And I think everybody goes through these same ups and downs. You know, you second guess yourself. You wonder if you really have what it takes. But I think everybody has what it takes. You know, it doesn't take a special human to realize that you're capable of doing so much more. But the person who you're going to fight against is yourself. Maybe I'm reaching nobody right now. Maybe I'm just saying this so I realize it for myself. You know? I think that I live an unbelievable life. I'm married. I have 7 healthy sons. Do I want more? Absolutely. But what's holding me back? And the only thing that I keep hearing in my head is sometimes I'm thinking to myself, like, will I be able to still enjoy the things that I do now by expanding? Because honestly, I would like to be able to travel more and see different people. But the problem is that sometimes you get on that treadmill, and I don't know what everybody's treadmill is. You know, a treadmill can be like a steady job. It's convenient, but then again, it becomes inconvenient because the time that you can be spending using some critical thinking to create what you really want out of life, you might spend that time doing mindless work. And then you turn around and time flies by and it's the same story because you're still doing the same things and you're getting the same results. And mentally, that's not putting yourself in a good spot. So today I decided to say, look, I'm going to step off the ledge into the pool. And I'm going to test the waters. And I'm going to stop being the person to look from the outside and at where the business is going on at. Because I'm here now mentally. You know, I know so many well-connected people, it doesn't make sense. It's been up to me just to connect the dots. That's the problem. I've been finding myself not connecting the dots. And the dots are my resources. So when I find myself frustrated, I have to remember that I haven't been connecting the dots. Because in order for me to honestly accomplish what I know I will, I'm going to need resources. I'm going to have to bring people together so we can accomplish something great, you know? I have to get everybody speaking and becoming the glue and being able to delegate and putting a lot of people, not a lot of people, but putting really quality people around me. And I know some people that have been there the entire time. That that's how it works, you know. The entire time you have everything you need. The entire time. It's always been there. But all you need to do is just reach out to it. Reach out to those people, because I've tried to do multitasking, and even with AI, it's still impossible to do everything by yourself. And I haven't been doing everything by myself. You know, I have a really supportive team, but I have to delegate out to this team a lot more. And I'm not saying I'm not capable of still doing everything necessary, but I have larger wings now, you know? I fly higher. I'm in a different lane. I'm blocking the sun of somebody else. And now it's time to expand. So that's the reality that I'm coming to. I don't know if does anybody else feel like me? Like, you know, you here, I'm going to stop this and then we'll continue to record.